Welcome in, along with Mike Renner. I'm Steve Palazzolo, and this is your Le'Veon Bell free agent profile as we dig into the star running back. He skips the entire 2018 season, Mike. There's a lot to unpack here because we like to always talk about how running back value is lower than ever. The NFL doesn't always agree with us. So what are your thoughts on Bell, what he brings to the table, and what the NFL is going to do?
I still think he's one of the best backs in the NFL, and what he can do from a receiving perspective and a rushing perspective makes him a modern NFL running back. He's a guy that can be used in a modern NFL offense in a number of different ways, and that in and of itself has value. But it comes down to how much value and how much you're willing to pay a guy who didn't play this past season. In 2017, when he did play, got over 400 touches and wasn't necessarily as effective as we've seen him in the past. So there's a lot of question marks, but I do still think you will be getting a productive back, whoever does sign him.
Yeah, so his 72.2 PFF grade, that was the lowest since his rookie season of 2013. Only 4 yards per attempt, that was his lowest. Also since his rookie season, yards after contact. Pretty much everything across the board was down, and we're talking about a guy who was so productive. He was, the best of the best in 2015 and 16. The thing you do mention, though, his ability to line up wide, line up in the slot, I do think that is where he adds the most value. We do talk about running backs quite a bit, just their dependency on the offensive line. So I don't think the Steelers missed a whole lot as far as his rushing production went, and even in the receiving game, they did find ways to mitigate it a little bit, but he is still a mismatch weapon in a league where if you have a good offensive coordinator to exploit those mismatches, you could take advantage of Bell's skill set.
Yeah, precisely. And back in 2017, he lined up outside in the slot or out wide 12.9% of his snaps that season, and that was playing, over 800 snaps. That was when he was on the field basically every single down. Over 10% of those came as based from a wide receiver alignment. Not a lot of guys can do that. Not a lot of guys can split out wide from the backfield and sort of, take the attention of the defense and put fear in the defense with what if you have to match up linebacker versus Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is going to win that matchup again and again. So like you said, creative offense coordinator can utilize him in not just a running role where we've said the rushing of the football doesn't have the value it once did, but that receiving role still has a ton of value.
Yeah, it certainly does. So let's see. Any potential fits? Again, we always point back to these teams that have a ton of cap space, but the running back, like Bell, needs to be kind of the cherry on the top of a pretty good offense.
That's the thing. I don't know which, already you want him to go to a team. You would think a team that would covet him is a team that's pretty much close to a Super Bowl run, but at the same time, not a lot of teams have that sort of cap space when you're that close, and not a lot of teams are going to be willing to maybe take the risk and give him that big contract that he's looking for. The teams with a ton of cap space, teams like the Colts, teams like the Jets, make more sense in terms of what they can offer Le'Veon Bell, but are they really going to, break the bank? As Chris Ballard, the Colts GM, who was just, named GM Executive of the Year, is he really going to put that much investment in running back after he saw what an offensive line could do for his running backs, his group of running backs that didn't have too much production? So I'm not sure who's going to do it, but I think it's going to go to a team like that, you said, that has a bunch of cap space going forward here.
Yeah, and the Colts would be an interesting team just as far as a fit, only because they do have Andrew Luck and they've got some other pieces in place. The Jets kind of starting from scratch a little bit, but they have all that money. I don't know if you want to put all that money into a Bell that early. And if it was, say, a team like the Baltimore Ravens, you've got Lamar Jackson, he'd see a high workload behind that power running scheme.
Exactly. He'd actually be sort of the rushing value would be increased there because of how much he'd be utilized.
So there you have it. It's Le'Veon Bell, still one of the most versatile running backs in the NFL. We'll see if a team truly believes in that, and if they, don't care about that year off, see what Le'Veon Bell gets in the open market.